All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of Frenzycast. Today we're here with Spilt Milkshakes, a local Blacksburg band taking the town by storm. We're just going to let them introduce themselves really quick.
Oh, I'm Umar. I'm the lead guitarist.
I'm John. I'm the drummer.
I'm George. I'm the rhythm guitarist and singer.
I'm Levi. I'm the bassist.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you guys on today. Just want to start off and ask, how long have you guys been each playing music for?
Oh, God. You first, Umar.
I started on the violin in middle school, so like 6th grade. That was good. How many years ago was that? Long time ago. I'm a senior in college now, so good 10 years probably.
I have been playing music for a long time. I started in 5th grade band. I played trumpet first, which was not good.
What made you want to switch to drums?
I thought I'd get the ladies with the drums. It didn't work out. but
I don't know that.
Yeah. But I switched to drums. I started off on percussion, keyboard instruments, which is they're fun, but I like hitting things hard. And so I switched to drum set in high school. I played in marching band. I play snare drum. I'm still in marching band. I'm about to graduate though, but so I guess 10 plus years, I guess, long time.
I also started in middle school on guitar in 6th grade, I think, so 13 years. Picked up a few other instruments along the way. I didn't start singing in earnest until maybe 3 years ago. But yeah.
What about you?
I also started out with the violin in middle school. Let's go. Whipped it out. And then I just picked up bass probably 2 years ago because one of my friends needed a bassist for their band. So I was like, I'll try it out.
How's the learning process on bass?
It's fun. I mean, I'm definitely clearly self-taught, but
I played an instrument in middle school as well. I played saxophone also because I thought it would get the ladies. We called it the sexy phone. But I hated it. I stopped playing. Tried to pick up guitar. Stopped. Now I'm trying to learn bass, so we'll see. Yeah.
do it up.
Yeah. All right, so next question is, who establishes the band's creative direction when you guys are making singles? What's the creative direction that the band wants to take?
That's definitely me. I'm the I guess key songwriter of pretty much all the songs that have come out, lyric wise and structure wise. In terms of a creative direction, that's hard for me to think about. I just kind of have an idea for a song and write it, and then I'm okay, these ones kind of go good together. I guess we'll release them together. But that's why most of our releases are singles. But we are in the process of working on a few other songs a little bit more collaboratively. It's also hard to talk about that process right now, specifically with the 4 of us, because Spilt Milkshakes has kind of had a rotating cast list. Umar joined last semester. Levi joined, I think, 3 weeks before him. Me and John are the only 2 original members. But yeah, we're hopefully going to be finishing up some songs soon and getting in the studio to record.
Yeah. So you said you're the kind of take the lead on the songs and lyric wise. What is that process like when you're writing lyrics?
Confusing. Lyrics are even though I say I'm the key songwriter for lyrics, that's the thing I struggle with the most. Especially if I sit down and I'm I want to write a song right now. Nothing comes out. But if I'm just going throughout my day, I'll write little tidbits of lyrics and try to put them together. Or I'll just think up a bunch at once when I'm doing some non-serious activity. Our most recent release, Graduation, I wrote 90% of those lyrics while preheating the oven.
Okay. I've been reading a book recently about creativity, and the author talks about how creativity kind of just comes to you, and if you try and force it, it's not organic and it doesn't work. Whereas you just be going through your day and then something just kind of hits you and you go, oh, I like that, and then you write it down, or you just like be one with it. So that's cool that you were like preheating the oven, and it just came to you. I like that.
Yeah. I've definitely gotten better at it, I will say. Like, I've learned the best advice is just write everything down.
Yeah.
Even if you think it sounds dumb, if you get like 2 lines that work together, just write it down.
Yeah.
And for that process, do you guys come up with melodies together, or do you go with the lyrics first and then try to come up with a melody?
I think we do the melody first.
It's gone both ways in the past. I think usually it's instrumentation first is how I think about it. The melody of like the lyrics themselves tend to come when I'm writing the lyrics, or after I have like what I call the skeleton of the song done, which is just like rhythm and chords. But yeah, it's definitely like gone both ways. Sometimes it's the lyrics first, sometimes it's the instruments first. Like one song that's hopefully going to be coming out sort of soon. Well, I won't say it's over. I only had the first stanza and the last stanza, and it was like a 4.5-minute song. And one of the earliest videos of us playing it, I literally say, "This is going to be so funny because I'm going to say like 2 things, and then it's going to be nothing, and then I'm going to say another 2 things, and then the song will be over."
Yeah, right. That's cool. Just going quickly back, since you guys are both new to the band, joining last semester and then a little bit before, what has that been like, kind of joining a band that's already been established, and just becoming members of that?
You want to go first? She joined first.
It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's kind of, you want to fit into the shoes of the people that were before you. So there's a little bit of pressure there, but I don't know. They've all been very welcoming. So
Yeah. For me, this is my first ever band that I've ever been in. So that's also very interesting for me. And just seeing the entire process play out, like showing up to practices. I remember the first practice I showed up to, my hands were like shaking because I was so nervous. It was like, I gotta play good, otherwise they're gonna hate me. But now I just sit there and fart in the middle of practice and do work. So
I just want to say, by the way, I technically was not there for the beginning.
Yeah.
Because the funny story about me joining the band is literally the first week of class, like my sophomore year here, which would have been 2021 into 2022. I lived in a neighborhood, and there was like word like, oh, there's this gig happening like 3 doors down, like you should come to it. And I was like, okay, whatever. And it was like, I walked in and I'm like, this band's kind of cool, but like, you know, I was like, nah, whatever. I'll probably see him again someday. And then like nothing. I heard nothing, and I was like, whatever. And they had like a set, you know, I really liked, and they had members, and George was singing and drumming, and like I want to say like 8 months later, I had my roommate at the time was like, hey, there's this guy. I was at a party, and he's looking for a drummer, and I said, you're really good. And I was like, what if I'm not? Like, you know, like that's a lot of like scary feelings to go into something like that. So I showed up to his apartment. We just like jammed for a bit, and he was like, all right, well, you're in, because like we don't really have like anything to find yet. And I was like, okay, good. And now I'm here. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny because that's the exact same way they did it to me.
I posted an ad for you. The funny thing about I totally forgot about that because technically our first show with like the actual founding members, one of them, my friend Ben, who lives in like California now.
Yeah.
We did that one show, and he immediately moved up to New York for grad school.
Wow, so he was only in for one show.
He was in for one show,
Yeah.
and that show it was me, another former member Tyler, Ben, who all play like multiple instruments.
Yeah.
So we spent the whole set rotating around. Like I would play drum on one song, I would sing on one song, I would do bass on one song.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you guys have talked a lot about how it's kind of been like a revolving door, but can you talk about like how the name Spilt Milkshakes came to be?
Well, it was not always Spilt Milkshakes.
It was not always Spilt Milkshakes. It was right before the band was originally Spilt Milk.
Okay.
Which, yeah.
That makes sense because I remember seeing your logo and it's kind of the milk cartons.
Yeah, and I love that logo, so I'm never going to abandon it.
Yeah.
But the name was originally Spilt Milk. In that 8-month period that John was talking about, I was working on releasing our first single, Rest. And when I went to go do it, I found out that there was 11 other bands on Spotify with the name Spilt Milk. one of which had over 80,000 followers.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, yeah, we can't compete with that. But we'd already told people, like, we're Spilt Milk. We'd already had our first show.
Yeah.
Like, people, like, the few people that did know us, they, like, knew the name.
Yeah.
So I was like, it has to be something similar. So just Spilt Milkshakes.
I like
And
that.
there was no bands with that name, so
Yeah, it's unique.
it's like a fun twist on the saying.
Okay, so you guys, I know you guys have performed at a lot of venues, from milk parlor, house shows, that sort of thing. What's the best performance you guys have given as musicians, and which venue is your favorite?
I think
I
each
have
of
a
us should
personal
answer that.
answer.
Yeah,
you go first.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
You have the least to choose from, so.
Yeah, I've only been here. I think the Halloween show is my favorite.
Yeah.
I think I played the best that show. It felt the best. The entire atmosphere was great. It was a house show, so there's a really small apartment with just a bunch of people cooped in.
Yeah.
Started a mosh pit that day as well. Crowd surfing. It was really fun.
I have to say the Halloween show as well. What house is that? Was that?
That is the quote unquote doghouse, DAWG.
Oh.
That
I don't
show
think they've had a
was-
single other show
Yeah.
besides that one.
That show was crazy because it was like a Halloween thing, so like everybody was in costumes, and I wore like a onesie that was like Sully from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
And it was so hot that like because it was like triple layered. I had like shorts underneath and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Umar didn't even have a shirt on.
Yeah, I just started stripping as well.
Yeah. But like, there's photos of us during that show, and you can tell like at the beginning, like I'm good, but I'm so sweaty, like it's disgusting, and I had to like take it off halfway through because I was like literally dying. Like some girl in the audience, like I was like, we were between songs and I was like grabbing sticks or something, and I just see like this girl funneling through the crowd with a cup of water. She's like, "Give it to the drummer," and I'm like, do I look that bad right now? Like what's going on? And sure enough, like we got the photos after, and like I had to put them all in black and white because all of them were just like red. We're just completely red. Like George was like, "Thank you for putting them in black and white because they were so bad." And but it was great. There was so many people.
Yeah.
I really liked the like set list we had. It was really fun.
Do you guys play like all originals and covers?
Originals and covers.
We mix it up. It kind of depends on the show and like what we're feeling.
Yeah.
There's usually at least 3 or 4 originals mixed into the set.
How and when do you decide which songs you're gonna play?
We usually decide like what songs we want to play, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before a show, because we want to practice them.
Yeah.
But something that we've been doing that I think has been really helpful is whenever we like finish a cover and we're like, yeah, this is ready to be played live, I just throw it in a big list.
Yeah.
And that is like our cover list, like our little like black book, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And whenever a show's coming up, I'll just pull it back out, and it's got to be like 15 to 20 songs long now. And I'm like, all right, guys, which ones do you want to hit? We need like 6 covers,
Yeah.
and then we'll just decide. We're trying to add more to it right now, actually.
What's your favorite cover to play?
That's a good question.
Constant headache.
I think we all have different answers. I think John's is my hero.
There's context to that. My Hero is like a really good song to play. I really like Foo Fighters, but the drum part is so taxing on my butt. Like the constant bass drum pedal. I don't know what it is. It's just like you think your foot or your leg would hurt, but like halfway through the song, I'm like kind of leaning up on the chair a little bit. Like I'm like, my butt, like it hurts. But I do like that song. It gets a rise out of the crowd.
My favorite cover is probably either Rock Bottom, maybe Constant Headache, because I have a really fun memory of Constant Headache, which is going back to your other question, like favorite shows.
Yeah.
Mine's either the Halloween show or our last house show of last semester, which is at the Birdhouse,
I've heard of the Birdhouse.
because I gave everybody fireball shooters, and if you don't know Constant Headache, it has this really like kind of long intro where it's just the rhythm guitar playing one chord before like the whole band smashes in. And I put it between my teeth, and I did the whole shooter like while playing that one chord. And I got the crowd to do shots with me too.
That's sick.
You guys were talking about some of your like favorite bands earlier, but like, do you guys have like personal artists you take like inspiration from?
Ooh, I got this. I got
You go
this.
first.
Any like
He's good.
I found like any musician, you go up to them and ask them what made them want to start learning their instrument, most of the time they're gonna immediately name one of their favorite bands.
Right.
Like for me, but it doesn't always end up being the one that you play, like the genre of. So for me, John Frusciante of Red Hot Chili Peppers, he was a big inspiration for me. So I learned all of like the Red Hot Chili Peppers songs, and that's how I learned guitar. But then it ended up being that I just play a lot of punk rock, not funk like that at all.
I have like a mixed bag because I listen to so many different genres. Like my Spotify rap this year was like wild. It was like Queens of Stone Age, Pine Grove, like fan noises, like so I could sleep at night. Drumming wise, I would say that I take most of my inspiration from definitely Dave Grohl's drumming on Songs for the Deaf. Like that's the one that like I'm like that album is just so good.
It's one of my favorite albums.
That and the drumming in Pine Grove is really good as well. I think it's one of the underappreciated things about that band. I don't know the name of I think his name's like Nick or something, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But his style to like add dynamics and stuff, and like just the percussive art of his drum set playing is just so good.
Yeah.
And I take inspiration, but I also am like I'm never gonna be there, so we'll see.
Mine's also a mixed bag. Lyrically, I think I pull the most from probably Dan Campbell of the Wonder Years, and also Aaron West in the Roaring Twenties. That's like his solo project.
Yeah.
He has a really like personal style of writing lyrics. Like when I listen to Wonder Years songs and I'm like really paying attention to the lyrics, it just feels like him like telling a story, like telling his buddies a story like about his life.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling a little bit more like literary, or it just depends on like what music I'm listening to at the time. Kyle Morton of Typhoon, very like complex band, like one of those bands that has like 13 members with like strings, horns, guitars, pianos, and like listening to their stuff feels like you're reading a literary poem that's like assigned in like a college level English class.
I wouldn't know.
John. Musically, I grew up on pop punk.
Okay.
I grew up going to Warped Tour, so My Chemical Romance, Paramore, Fall Out Boy, those kind of bands, old Fall Out Boy, those kind of bands.
Probably Mitski for me.
Mitski.
What do you
Like-
think of the new album?
I love all of her stuff. I don't know. All of her bass lines, especially in like Puberty 2,
Yeah.
I think are pretty simple but very effective.
Yeah.
I don't know. She creates really good emotional music, so was a big inspiration for me to start.
Yeah. So segue from that, we talked about kind of artists that you look up to. On the other side of that, are there any artists in Blacksburg that you like dream to play with? Any that you have played with and you want to play with them again? Just kind of that partnership that you guys want to play with.
Actually, one of the bands I've been wanting to play with is actually coming up soon.
Okay.
Whelp. I don't know if you guys know Whelp.
Yeah.
We're playing a fundraiser show with them and I think Hologram Ann on, I want to say March 29th at Southpaw.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun time. Our favorite bands that my favorite bands we've played with before are probably Good Dropouts and Cracking the Sidewalk.
Awesome.
We've definitely played with them the most. That's who we did the Halloween show with. Great group of people.
Yeah.
They're so much fun. They're all so talented.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck Bailey plays drums and sings.
That is crazy.
Oh, me?
Bailey's
Well, my running joke is I like to say dead bands that aren't in Blacksburg anymore.
Yeah.
Like Paper Plant. They don't play anymore. I don't know what happened to them, but I think they've just become Hologram Man now. But if I was actually to give you like a real answer, there's a band in Charlottesville. They're based out of Charlottesville. Yard Sale. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're really good. They play a lot of I don't know how to define it. A lot of really indie grunge-esque type stuff. And I've been listening to them for a while. They've been why I wanted to join a local band and do my own thing.
It's awesome. Influences there.
I think my favorite band to watch in Blacksburg is definitely Cherry Moon. I think a lot of people can say that because their music is just so good. They play like all originals, which I think is pretty interesting. Favorite to play with, just because they're my friends, is Earth Days. They're like, I met most of them through like marching band, and we've formed a pretty good relationship. I love those guys, so I just like the music they play as well. It's really cool to like be friends with another band and like not only go to like see them play, but you're like, oh, I'm friends with those people too. Like they're not just gods that I'm watching, you know. Like I actually know those people, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
What do you guys think about like the future of the music scene in Blacksburg, and how does like Spilt Milkshakes fit into that?
I think the future of the scene looks really good. I've been here for a while because I was here like during COVID, took some semesters off, switched majors, yada yada yada. I was here when the scene was non-existent. There was like maybe 2 bands that I knew about. Now the scene is crazy. Every weekend there are multiple shows. I am a huge fan of the account that just started not too long ago called We the Village, that like shouts out all the big stuff happening every weekend, whether it's at Milk Parlor, XYZ, or like house shows, whatever. As for Spilt Milkshakes, that is a big question because John and I are both graduating this semester. John is definitely peacing out, right?
Yeah. I'm sick of school, bro. I'm so done.
Any drummers out there watching this, please give me up.
I might be sticking around. I already like renewed my lease just in case. Might also end up subletting. It just depends if I like get a solid job that like moves me out of here. Definitely not going straight back into school. That's not the plan. But I would severely miss the music scene if I left, especially because I like this last, it's like past semester, maybe the semester before, it was like the first one that I felt like we were like in the scene. Like we weren't like trying to break in and like set up our shows. This is the first, like, it was like the first time where people were like actively reaching out to us to like do things, and like I knew people that I could reach out to be like, hey, we need bands for this bill. And the scene is just so welcoming. Bands sprout up all the time. And like the bands that are more established are so willing to just like give everybody a chance.
And it's also like, it's not just one band playing at one venue, so like you want something to do, you're like, oh, this is the only opportunity you have. It's like Milk Parlor, XYZ, Southpaw, and the house show all in the same weekend. So it's like if you can't go to one, you go to the other. Like and it's every weekend.
It's a good problem to have. I find myself being kind of disappointed that like I can't go to, like I find myself like there's a Friday where there's like 3 shows happening and I'm like I can't go to every single one, which is like that's a good problem to have. Like I because from my experience, like, you know, when I got here my freshman year, it was like COVID. I had heard nothing about the music scene. I didn't even know it existed. I don't think it really did. And I felt like me and George when I got put in the band, like it was a good time to like start the momentum because like that's when everything started to like come back. And I think we picked a good time to like butt in and be like, hey, we're here.
Hire us for shows.
Yeah.
Do you think either of you guys will continue to play music after you graduate?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Like hobby wise. Yeah.
I've actually been making plans because like whatever the job is that I end up getting, I want it to be one where I can travel a lot, which the unfortunate side of that is like not having a studio, not having my home studio. So I've been like making plans on like things that I need to buy and set up so that I can record music on the road.
That's awesome.
Let's shift it more to like your like social media presence. Like who handles all of that?
So mostly me. Most recently, Levi is starting to take over a little bit.
You can tell.
If anybody saw the Valentine's Day post,
Valentine's Day post was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was Levi. I'm not great at social media. Like I've gotten to the point that I know how to like promote our shows a little bit. But if you go down the line, all of our posts, for me at least, have pretty much just been, this is when a show is happening, this is photos from that show, or like this is when a release is coming out. I'm bad at keeping up with social media, as much as I try. So Levi's starting to take over. What are your thoughts on taking over the social media?
What do you mean by thoughts?
We've gotten a little wacky in this last semester. For sure.
We're getting kind of whimsy.
A little whimsy.
I don't know. We need more engaging stuff.
I actually mess with it a lot, and we've noticed that a lot of it is like artistic, kind of drawn out, Spilt Milkshakes, other posters, that sort of thing. So is that also you, or do you guys kind of outsource that?
The posters is another part of the community that is really cool, and I feel like we specifically have gotten really lucky with.
Yeah.
Just finding artists and like hiring them. I'm personally not a visual artist. I can't draw very well. I can like do stuff in Photoshop. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like if you saw the album cover for our last release, the Dog Day demos, that was all just Photoshop for me. But all the drawn posters are usually just like us finding an artist and being like, hey, would you be interested in doing this poster?
Yeah.
I usually pay them like $30 because a lot of them, because they're like non-established, will be like, no, I'll just like do it for
Yeah.
and like, no, support local art.
Yeah.
Here's $30.
I like that.
And sometimes I come to them with an idea. Sometimes I just like, I'm like, these are the bands, this is the info, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I think we've just gotten lucky with the artists that we've worked with. None of them have given me a product back and I've been like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't want to post it.
I think the ugliest poster we had was the cat's birthday party, which was so
That was
ugly. It was
beautiful.
just so great.
It was so bad.
That one was great, but it wasn't us.
It was not
That
us.
was the girls that run the she shed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just this mash of pictures of like a cat wearing like a birthday hat and then a bunch of like Club Penguin stuff sometimes. I don't know what was on
That was a
it.
fun show,
Yeah.
surprisingly. As odd as it sounded when they first messaged me, that was a fun show.
You said it was the She Shed? Is that the menu?
Sort of. They've done 2 shows now, one with us and one like a week ago. The shows they've done have always been under the like theme of it's their cat's like something birthday.
Okay.
I think when we did it, it was their half. The last one was the 3/4.
Wait, who was throwing it? Do you know the girl's name?
I do. I don't know if they want me shouting their names out on
I think I
a
know
video.
who it is, though, for sure.
They're cool. They're nice.
Yeah.
They just hit us up and they were like, "Do you want to play at our house for our cat's birthday?"
I thought it was a
I thought it was a scam. I thought
I literally sent it to the chat because I was like, this feels so much like a scam, but I can't figure out the angle.
This was a weekend to me joining, by the way, so I didn't know what was going
So I
on.
guess you're planning a cat's birthday.
I was like, okay, this is normal.
But it turned out super great. There was like a lot. There was way more people there than I thought there was gonna be.
So you were talking about earlier, you designed the EP cover. What about some of like the single covers that you do? And like, what's the inspiration behind that?
So the first one, Rest, is the carton with like the logo around it. Pretty simple. The carton was drawn by like our original artist that I used to go to all the time. I don't think she minds me saying her name because I posted about her a lot. Marie Costanzo. She doesn't go here anymore, but she was my former roommate's girlfriend. Great artist. She did that poster, the astronaut poster, the Wove It poster with the headphone graphic, and a few others. Also like our first round of stickers. She drew that carton. I just made it a simple logo. I was like going for it looking like it was sewn onto something, like embroidered. I'm trying to think. Buzzed at Best was the next one. That was also Marie Costanzo, and I literally just like threw a bunch of stuff on my table and like put a cassette in the middle and was like, this is what I want it to look like. And it says like, and I wanted to say like Buzzed at Best, and she did it. She delivered.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm trying to think of the
Your
next.
ghost is just a photo.
Your Ghost is a photo of a friend. I had the idea for Your Ghost a year before I posted it because I wanted to do a Halloween song, but I didn't think about doing a Halloween song until 2 days before.
Yeah.
So I wrote it all and then sat on it for a year. But she helped me shoot this. It's just like a photo for like wearing an astronaut helmet and like there's like a bedsheet ghost in the background. It was originally going to be a lot more bedsheet ghosts until one of my friends was like, y'all look like you're in the KKK. So I was like, all right, time to switch tactics.
Yeah.
And then the Dog Day demos, that's a picture of my dogs when I was growing up.
Awesome.
I don't know. You have anything else?
Anything else you guys want to plug? Any
Yeah, we
upcoming
always
shows?
give the bands a chance to like plug anything at the end, anything upcoming.
We got a bunch of shows coming up in March and April. We're trying to set up a small tour in the weekend of April 20th because we've already got a spot in UVA, and we're trying to work one out in Milk Parlor as well for like that same weekend. We'll be posting dates soon. At least 2 of them are for fundraisers, so show up, support local causes. One of them I think is about like drug prevention. One of them is a gear trade. And we are just about to get in the studio to start recording our next release. Possibly next 2 releases.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Do you guys have anything else you want to say?
Support the Marching Virginians. They're the best organization on campus.